Hey guys, and welcome to a video on which ship should you get. In this video, I'll be going over the ships of the Great Ocean and which one is best for you. Now, before I get into it, I'm really going to be covering two different ships and their upgrade paths, the Epheria Sailboat and the Epheria Frigate. If you don't want to drop hundreds of millions or billions of silver on a ship, then the Epheria Cog is a cheap but fast ship, and the Bartoli Sailboat is a cheap but rather slow ship, but it does have one cannon on each side that other players can use. With that out of the way, let's jump right into it. The Epheria Sailboat and the Epheria Frigate are the two most common ships on the Great Ocean. Both are pretty easy to get, fairly expensive, and will allow you to do both bartering and sea monster hunting, with a little help if you don't have an improved version of them for the sea monster hunting. The Epheria Sailboat is the cheapest and probably the best ship for most beginners to get, in terms of cheap for a ship. As mentioned, the Cog, the Bartoli Sailboat, and the fishing boat are all quite a bit cheaper, but the Epheria Sailboat can do things that they really just can't do. There are four easy ways to get the Epheria Sailboat. You can buy the registration off the marketplace for between about 200 to 450 million silver, depending on the time and what is going on in the game at the moment. You can upgrade it from the Bartoli Sailboat. You can craft it at the Epheria shipyard. And you can also trade in 50 Shikatu seals in order to get a registration to register your boat. With 5,000 weight, the Epheria Sailboat is the perfect first ship for barterers. 5,000 weight allows you to get 6 T1 or T2 barter items without going overweight, which will allow you to get your first several hundred barters out of the way much faster and get the items required if you want to upgrade your Epheria Sailboat into the next version of it, which is the Epheria Caravel. It has one player-mounted cannon on each side, and also has space for one crew member. Now, the Epheria Sailboat's main competition is its sister ship, the Epheria Frigate. The Frigate is much more expensive than the Epheria Sailboat, clocking in around 1.4 billion silver, and there are three ways to get it. Just like the sailboat, you can upgrade it from the Bartoli Sailboat, you can craft it at the Epheria shipyard, you can buy the registration from the marketplace. However, as at the time of this video, there is no way to get the Epheria Frigate for Shikatu seals. So if you want to get a ship for free, ignoring the opportunity cost of what else those seals get you, you are going to be stuck with the Epheria Sailboat. Now, compared to the stats of the Epheria Sailboat, the Epheria Frigate has 1,000 less weight, with 4,000 instead of 5,000. It has space for one crew member, and it has two cannons per side, as opposed to the one of the Epheria Sailboat. Once again, player mounted. You will need other players on your boat in order to use these cannons. Now, just from these first glance at these two ships alone, unupgraded, nothing else, it's pretty easy to see that the Epheria Sailboat is better for bartering, and the Epheria Frigate is better for sea monster hunting. The Epheria Frigate is also a little bit faster. It has a bit more speed and I believe a bit more turn, brake, and acceleration, but not enough to make it make up for the 1,000 less weight for when you're bartering. Realistically, it's Frigate is for sea monster hunting, and Sailboat is for bartering. Now, just staring at the base versions of these ships does not really do them justice, because each ship has two big upgrades, as well as one smaller upgrade. The smaller upgrade is the Improved Sailboat or the Improved Frigate. Now, for sailboat owners, I would not suggest ever doing the Improved Sailboat, as all the improved version does is change the player-mounted cannons into captain-operated cannons, meaning instead of having to have players using your cannons, you can just fire your cannons by holding down the left or right mouse button while driving the ship. This makes sea monster hunting way easier. It allows you to be independent instead of having to bring along guildies or other people to shoot your cannons, and it's just a very nice upgrade in general. However, this upgrade is also applied to all the other upgrades, and the sailboat just isn't good enough at sea monster hunting for me to really be able to justify spending the money required to make it an improved sailboat, as opposed to spending the money to just turn it into a Caravel. The Frigate, on the other hand, because it's not as good as bartering, if you don't want to go drop several billion silver to make it a Galleass, turning it into an improved frigate will allow you to be very effective at sea monster hunting for the least cash. So it is an option to consider if you just want to do sea monster hunting, don't care about bartering at all. Now then, with the improved out of the way, the two main upgrades for the sailboat and the frigate are the Caravel and the Galleass respectively. The Caravel upgrades from the Epheria Sailboat. It doubles the weight from 5,000 to 10,000, triples the number of crew that you can take on board from 1 to 3, and it also turns the one player-mounted cannon per side into two captain-operated cannons per side. It's okay at sea monster hunting, but it's nothing special, and will take quite a while to kill any sea monster you come across. So it doesn't specialize in it, but you can, if you want to get dailies out of the way with it, use it for that. However, what the Caravel truly specializes in is bartering. With a base weight of 10,000 and 11,500 with very easily obtained and upgraded plus 10 green Caravel gear, you can perform pretty much any barter on the Great Ocean without going overweight, with the sole exception being the 6 T3 to T4 barters, which will get you to about 12,500 weight, just a little more than the 11,500 that you have with the base Caravel and plus 10 green Caravel gear. Now, the Caravel's direct competition, of course, is the Frigate Upgrade, which is the Galleass. Doubling its weight from 4,000 to 8,000, tripling its crew capacity, and also changing the 2 player-mounted cannons per side to 4 captain-operated cannons, the Galleass is a terror when it comes to sea monster hunting. If you ignore the Carrick, the Galleass is the best sea monster hunting ship on the Great Ocean, and it's a fairly effective barterer as well. While you do feel the lack of the 2,000 weight with 8,000, 9,500 with the plus 10 Galleass gear, compared to the Caravel, it is still fairly good. The upgraded speed, once again, does not make up for the loss of weight. However, you can do pretty much all barters. You just go overweight on more of them than you do with the Caravel. So, once again, Caravel, bartering, Galleass, sea monster hunting. But if you don't care about bartering and you just want to do sea monster hunting, then maybe Frigate, Improved Frigate instead of Galleass, because the upgrade for the Caravel and the Galleass are both north of 1 billion silver. It's 400 million for the registration alone for the Caravel and 600 million for the Galleass, and that's not taking into account what you have to spend to get the upgrade materials. Although do note you can get half of the upgrade materials for free by doing the Ravinia's Log questline. At Crow's Nest, 1 week, you can do the days 1 and 4 will give you 25 each of the materials. You need 100 each for the upgrades. You can only do this log once per family, so if you want to make a second boat, so you have a Caravel, you want a Galleass, or you want a second of whichever for whatever reason, you will have to pay the full amount when you are getting the materials the second time. So, before I get off, I will mention the final upgrade, and that is the Carrick. Now, the Carrick is pretty much the king of the Great Ocean. If you've ever seen them in port, they are the biggest ships. They have 9 cannons a side. They have massive weight capacities. I think the smallest of which is 13,500 weight for, I believe, the Volant and the Valor. And they are just an amazing ship. However, they are very hard to get. They require months and months of dailies in order to acquire. And they're also very expensive, because not only do you have to spend all the money to get a Caravel or a Galleass first in order to upgrade them, but you then have to spend a lot of money in order to upgrade the items for it before you can actually get the Carrick. So the Carricks, there's 4 Carricks, 2 each that are upgraded from the Caravel and the Galleass respectively. The Caravel upgrades are the Advance, which has by far the most weight capacity, and the Balance, which doesn't excel in anything but has overall higher stats across the board than any of the other 3 Carricks. The Galleass upgrades are the Volant, which is the fastest Carrick, and the Valor, which has the most firepower as it reloads its cannons the fastest. Which Carrick you want is up to you. However, do note that the Galleass Carricks do take longer to upgrade as they require more materials and several additional weeks of dailies in order to get them, in order to get the items required to make that Carrick. The Caravel Carrick are much easier to make. They require less dailies, can be got in less time, and they perform pretty much just as well as the Galleass Carrick. So if you just want a Carrick, go for the Caravel ones. But if you want a specific one, say you want the Volant because it's the fastest, or you want the Valor because it has by far the most firepower, then all power to you. Just be aware that it will take extra time in order to get them. So, the too long did not watch of this video is go for a sailboat if you want to barter, go for a frigate if you want to do sea monster hunting. If you want to upgrade either of them, definitely upgrade the sailboat into a Caravel for bartering. For the frigate, it's a little more nebulous. If you just want to do sea monster hunting, then upgrade into an improved frigate to get captain-mounted operated cannons. However, if you want to do some bartering as well, the Galleass can barter fairly effectively, just not as effectively as the sailboat, but it will be quite literally twice as good at killing sea monsters as the Caravel is, so take that into consideration. Anyways guys, this is a video on the ships of the Great Ocean. Hopefully this was helpful. I'll be doing more videos on sailing the ships, how to get a Carrick, and bartering especially in the upcoming weeks, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good one.